a storyteller, a strategist, and a woman who built details from an idea into an agency synonymous with purpose driven branding. Tripti Bhatia Gandhi represents the balance between ambition and authenticity. A voice that proves you can build with heart, lead with empathy, and live with grace. This conversation explores her journey of self belief, resilience, and redefining success on her own terms. Welcome to Behind the Strength, Tripti.
Thank you for having me, Priya. Really looking forward to this chat.
Tripti, you've spoken about working until the last days of your pregnancy and returning soon after. What drove that level of passion and commitment?
I think when you love something, you just figure a way to make it work. I love my baby. Details, number one.
Yes.
And I love my baby Kayan. So while I was really scared when I was pregnant, but I knew I wanted to inspire people because I've grown up seeing a lot of talented women giving up their careers or not working at all because they needed to, they needed to run a family. They needed to take care of their kids. Yeah. So I didn't return soon after. I never stopped. I took calls till I went into the OT, right. And while I came back, so it was like a 1 hour break, and then I was back on calls, and I was chilling. So the whole point was, like, I feel people scare you, and I think if you're just relaxed and if you're normal about it, and you just think it's just another part of your life,
you flow into it.
So my advice is don't overthink it because it's just another phase of your life, like. You go from school to college to working. Correct. And this is just another step and milestone in your life. So it just needs to flow.
How did Details brand communications, begin? What was the birth story, and was there a single moment that you felt that there's a gap that I want to fill?
Yeah, that was the inspiration. I was doing exactly this. I think I always knew what I wanted to do. So Details is now in its 15th year.
Wow.
And 15 years ago, the entire landscape was completely different. Right. So there wasn't a one-stop agency. You had a PR agency, and then you had a marketing agency, correct, and you had a branding agency, and you had an advertising agency. And for me, I felt like the gap was that you needed to soak into a brand. You just deal with me and my company, and you don't need to deal with 5 different agencies. Correct. So I wanted to create that comfort and ease for brands, which is why Details, came to life. And now, I keep adding divisions based on what I feel my clients need. So I believe in long-term relationships, and I feel that's the way to grow. Right. And I feel like all our brands have been with us either since we've started or they've started. So it's been like journeys of 14 years, 10 years. And I feel we've grown together. Absolutely. And then we act more like, like their in-house team. I feel like I own all my brands. That's the level of
commitment that you have, and also the feeling.
I think there are hundreds of agencies,
right,
but it's so important. What sets anyone apart when they are working is when they own a brand, and it feels like yours, even though it isn't. Feels like yours.
Imagine. That is, I think, the best way to work, when you actually get absorbed into the entire making. The fundamentals of running that brand is where you're going to build a very strong rapport with the owner, with the founder, with anybody who's handling day-to-day operations.
It needs to feel like family.
Yes,
so Details, by the way, also was created because I think my favorite time of my life was BMM. And I loved that vibe of everyone collaborating, right, and working together on projects, doing these
teamwork.
It was teamwork. And like I was leading a lot of things in college, right, in BMM. That's where I knew what I really wanted to do. I think BMM really helped me. And I really missed it. Right. And then I was working. And then when I needed to start my own agency, for me, I needed to create a vibe like college. I wanted
Absolutely.
people to come in and forget all their problems in their personal life and make this a space where they are happy and they found another family. Like some of the closest friendships, even mine and even the teams, have happened within the organization. Yeah, and like some of their best friends are all within the organization. And I think for me, that's my biggest achievement, to create a family.
When you first started out, what did strength look like to you? And how has that meaning evolved over time?
So I think initially I was really young, right? I was 23 when I started. So for me, strength was just, and like there weren't too many women in this, in this field, and women were not taken seriously. And a 23-year-old woman.
Not back in the day, at least.
Yeah, today it's like I remember I actually removed my age from my Facebook profile because I'm like, I don't want people to not take me seriously. But I think that took a while, and I think our work spoke for itself. So strength at that time was just holding on to what you believe in,
your
and
faith
knowing, your faith that you can do it and you'll go through it and your work will speak for itself. And it's not easy at that time when you're starting, because strength is also knowing that you need to. I always started with a team, so I didn't, I wasn't a solo player. So knowing that, okay, you have this office, you have to pay rents, you have to survive, you have to pay salaries. We started with a team of 7. You have to pay salaries, you have to do all of that. So I think strength at that time was just sailing through and proving a point. And now, I keep saying this, it's like now my job is more like a therapist to clients, to my team. So now strength is about, on a serious note, it's more about handling so many people's emotions, because I think that drains you so much. It's only about people. It's so hard. Sometimes you just want to break down, but you have to be strong in front of your clients. You have to be strong in front of your team. But inside maybe you're just crumbling. So strength, right, like at this point, is about making sure everyone else is okay and the show is running all the time, however you feel inside.
You've balanced creative storytelling with solid business strategy. Where did your sense of clarity and conviction come from?
Okay. So, from a client point of view, like we try not to, for me, like each brand, even if it's the same cuisine or similar, what I do is I first try to understand what the brand stands for, and like what, maybe what the brand owners want, and then I basically come up with a story based on that. And in terms of creativity, so we also work on budgets, right? So your creativity also
depends.
Like there are people who have no budgets and we still come up with something creative, and then there are brands who have like really, really high budgets, and then you can play around and do bigger things. But I think the storytelling is the same. And at that point, I don't think budgets matter, but of course, you can amplify it more when you have budgets.
For sure.
And the ROI is, we try not to spend too much. We try to do as much organic feeding as possible so that it's not very heavy on the brand's pocket also.
Every founder faces moments of doubt. Can you share one that truly tested you and how you rose from that?
COVID.
I think that was a moment of doubt for everybody.
I mean, I had a baby who was 2 months old when COVID started. And I had, at that point, I think, a team of 30 on my payroll, and I didn't let go of my office. And I continued for a month and another month. And at that point, brands had stopped because they were pausing, not knowing what the future is. And I still remember, in the second month, Anup is like, how are you going to pay salaries now? Because I think by month 3, all the reserves were, all wiped out. And he's like, what are you going to do now? Because every other agency are either shut or they let go of people. And at that was actually a test for me. I didn't know what to do, but I knew that I had to support my team, because if I didn't support my team in bad times, I knew they would never support me in bad times. So for me, at that time,
it was just the right thing to do.
The only thing I had was jewelry. So I took all my jewelry, went to the bank, took a loan, and paid my team.
What have been the biggest mindset shifts from being a creative professional to a leader, running a business and a team?
I think now it's also about making sure that there's some. So earlier it was only about having fun, right?
Right.
Like now, I think it's also about making sure your business is running.
Of course.
And not because of anything, because so many families depend on you.
Exactly.
So earlier when the team was smaller and all, it was more about, okay, let's have fun, and like money is not that important. But now I think as the team is bigger, responsibilities are bigger. So for me, I'm not big on the money part. Like I never look at numbers. So now for me, it's a very big thing to like seriously look at numbers now.
But I think your team is your inspiration. The
My
families that they have, that you have, that's your inspiration.
I was like, please don't make me look at numbers, because it really ruins my creativity. So for years I tried not to do that. I always kept thinking I'm a startup, and he's like, no, you need to take this seriously.
Yes. The creative industry thrives on originality, but burns out easily. How do you nurture innovation without losing balance? So everybody wants something original, but you end up burning out. I mean, how many ideas can you ideate at one point of time? I mean, especially if you're dealing with clients, with the number of clients that probably you have, which, touch wood, is great. Exactly. Everyone wants you, and everyone is like, now ideate something new.
So I think that's something that I'm blessed with. I think I can come up with ideas like on the spot. I can come up with concepts on the spot. On another note, like what's really important is to work on your mental health constantly. It's a creative field, right? And it's all about idea. Like I can't stop thinking. Like for me at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., like I can just come up with ideas all the time. So if I'm thinking of a client, I'm constantly thinking, till I have that one idea. So I think that's not been an issue till now, because I've sailed through. But it takes a lot of mental health work. And I think that's a very, very important part. Like people don't understand the importance of working on your mental health more than going to the doctor, getting your blood test done. Because if your mental health is great, everything is great. And in this field, your mental health is always going for a toss.
What does resilient leadership mean to you, and how do you embody it in everyday decisions? Like when you have to kind of make a decision which is very mundane but necessary. How do you kind of manage that, keeping leadership in mind?
I think now, like a lot of the smaller decisions, etc., I think you also have to empower your team. Like I did that for a long time in the company, and I think a little before COVID and then during COVID, I realized that everyone needs to grow. So now a lot of the like regular decisions that I used to take, or the smaller things, because also my team's been with me for so long.
Delegation is key.
Delegation is key, and I also feel like everyone needs to grow. So I think empowering your team is a very, very crucial and important part.
As a mother and an entrepreneur, how do you define balance? And has that definition changed over the years?
So I don't think I don't think there's anything called balance. There are days when you're giving a little more time to work, and there are days when you're giving a little more time to your baby. I do it every single day. Comes with a lot of mom guilt. I can't be guilty. I can't be guilty all the time, because how am I supposed to work then? Because again, this affects your mental health. So initially I was like drowned in mom guilt, but now I just involve my child in everything, because so I just get him excited about my work. I take him for my events, I take him for my tastings, I involve him wherever he can be, and now he's very proud. So he feels I own all the brands that I work on. And then he's like, yeah, my mama owns this brand, and so I involve him as much as possible.
Considering, that it's the next generation, they need to see their parents up and about.
But I try to like involve him. But honestly, like you can't have it all.
To maintain balance, I think, is a myth.
You're trying every day. So, and if there are any special events or special things that I need to go for, so I know my mornings are with him and my routine with him, my nights are with him. So I go back from work, put him to sleep, get my bedtime, and then go back to work. So I make sure, and then we take a lot of holidays. So then that's his time. So that's how I do the balancing.
Plus, you've got a support system too. Most important.
If I didn't have my mother, my mother-in-law, Saroja who takes care of him, my husband. I mean, there's no way I would have been able to do what I do.
What's your advice for women who fear they'll have to pause their ambitions for motherhood or family life? And what is your advice to them?
Just go for it. Like, don't be scared. Like I said, it's just another milestone in your life, and stop overthinking it and stop, like, scaring people. Like, they keep saying, oh my God, it's so tough. But life is tough. So
You have to work through it.
yeah, you have to work through it. And like, if you don't overthink anything, like, they say you put your energy into something,
Right.
and then it amplifies. I didn't think of it at all. I just didn't overthink it. When I had a baby, I didn't overthink it. I just, like, it just flows. Like, don't, like, put in so much negative energy, because then you're constantly, like, thinking about it.
And what you put out tends to come back magnified.
yeah.
What small daily rituals or habits help you stay grounded amidst chaos?
I meditate. Every morning, I meditate. I chant. Like, for me, the Hanuman Chalisa is what really calms me down. And then I have my, like, when I need my peace, there's a certain temple I go to, there's a church that I go to. But most importantly, like, I also go for a lot of sound healing. I go for therapy. So all these things really, like, help me, like, keep calm in the middle of chaos. Like, I'm going on saying it. It's so important for you to be happy, positive, and know that.
A lot of people say we're always positive, but it takes a lot of work at the back end for people to actually reach that stage of positivity.
Like, I write a gratitude journal in the nights. I do different things, but for me, the constant is the meditation, the praying. Like, I pray every day. Like, off late, I feel like I've become more spiritual, because sometimes when you're, like, so stressed and you have so much responsibility of so many things. Like, earlier, I always believed in God, but now, when you have that much responsibility, now I feel like I need God. And not for anything else, but just to kind of
Support system.
Stay calm.
That's it.
Stay
Almost
calm,
like just a
and
pillow.
you just need, you're like, okay, there's someone taking care of me.
Precisely.
While you're taking care of the whole world, you need someone to take care of you.
Absolutely, I resonate with that. What impact do you hope Details will leave on the Indian brand and communication landscape?
I hope it's international also, not just Indian.
No, but starting
I'm
at
joking,
our,
I'm joking.
at the Indian level, because for us, things are so new in a way, as it's quite nascent. If you say 15 years, it's still nascent. It's not really, though it's very well established, but I'm not saying Details is nascent. I'm saying the idea of it, coming together is very nascent.
I just hope that the impact it creates is that brands know that when they come to us, they're taken care of completely. Like, I want people to know that the work that we do can never be replicated, and not because there aren't 100 agencies, but because, like, I think, like, we are all heart. Like, I think I lead with my heart.
Right.
And I think, for me, I just want that to be like a testament. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, when I was working, no one in PR was married, like any agency owner. Like, they never got married. So I got married, and a lot of them who got married also couldn't sustain their marriages, because it's
the pressure.
If you actually, and I don't blame anyone, but if you actually see the stats, PR is one of the highest, like the most stressful jobs in the world. Right. So I guess the failed relationships or being single for life was one of the myths which I broke. Wow. So I think that's a personal achievement. Yeah.
If you were to design your own strength framework, what would be its 3 pillars and why?
Strength framework. Belief, trust, because you always need to trust the universe even in your bad times. Believe, trust, and yeah, I try to be as positive as I can.
Okay, lastly, what message would you like to leave for our audience? Standing at their own crossroads, those ready to build something that they're unsure of.
What's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that could happen is that you'll fail. But you'll never know till you don't try. So.
And what's behind Tripti Bhatia Gandhi's strength?
What's behind my strength? I think my belief in myself and my family. My family always, but if it's about me, then it's just the fact that there's a lot of like self-belief and trust in myself.
Great. Thank you, Tripti.
Thank you. This was fun.
I had a great time. Thank you for being with us and sharing your journey, everything, and your details with us. Thank you very much.
Thank
Tripti.
you so
Thank
much
you.
for having
Thank
me.
you.